Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about what the difference between a turnkey home is and maybe a fixer-upper and how that might affect your decision when you're looking to buy a home. So here we go. Today I decided to record kind of how I used to record outside in the beauty of the nature that exists behind my house. It is an impeccably beautiful day today, so I felt I should be outside and do some recording. So today's video I wanted to talk about the difference between these two concepts when people are shopping for a home. Now, there's nothing wrong with either of them. There are just things to consider. So what do we talk about when we say a turnkey home? So a turnkey home is one that it is perfect. It is already, everything has been updated in it. There aren't any weird color schemes. Everything's kind of like a neutral or a white or different shades of gray. Something that makes it to where you're going to basically just move right into the house. You don't have anything you've got to work on. It's just, that's exactly what you wanted. That's a turnkey home. Now, why does it matter? Turnkey homes are usually going to exist in a few different forms, and this is where you need to be aware of it. One, an investor is going to buy a house that needs work. They're going to get it at some kind of discount. They're going to do a bunch of work to the house, things like updating the kitchens, the bathroom. They might do some yard work or landscaping. They might do some painting, or all of the above. And they're going to turn around and try to sell that house for higher than what they got it for and make a profit. So that's called a flip, or flipping properties. Now, most people have seen TV shows where people do this, and that's what that concept is. Now, if you're an FHA approved home buyer, that means you're using an FHA loan. FHA has something called a flip rule, which means when the investor bought the house, starts this clock. That means that you can't buy that house until 90 days have passed from when the investor bought the house. Now, if you know anything about flipping properties, it's supposed to be done as quickly as possible. And so it's something to be aware of. If you're at day 60 and you want to get into contract, you might be able to stretch it out because then you can close escrow after 90 days, but you're going to have a hard time in underwriting until you get past that date. So something to be aware of. And you're pretty much going to be paying a premium on that house. You're paying probably the most for that type of house because it's been updated so much. It's already at its top. Now, another type of turnkey home might just be the people who lived in it just took really good care of it. They may have done some upgrades over the last few years. There's not really much you need to worry about, and you're just looking to buy the house. You might still be paying a bit of a premium for it, but it may not be as bad. That's something to be aware of, but anyone can pay on it. Now, if you're using a VA or conventional financing, there's no flip rule with those. But you may run into other concerns when it comes to value, because they're going to say, look, you bought this house for X, and now you're trying to sell it for Y. We need to justify it. You might have some appraisal concerns, so something to be aware of. But otherwise, a turnkey home is a turnkey home. You find the one that has everything the way you like it, and boom, you got that house, it's yours. Cool. Now, fixer-uppers. Now, a fixer-upper, I like to kind of define it in at least two different ways. There's lots of different ways you might see a fixer-upper. A fixer-upper could just be a home that needs some updating. It might need some some renovation type work to its bathrooms, its kitchen. It might have a teal bathtub, from the 60s or 70s, stuff that is just outdated, hasn't been worked on in a long time. It's stuff that needs to go, but everything's functional. Okay, that's the key thing. Everything's functional and safe. You don't have broken windows, you don't have wires exposed everywhere. Everything works that's supposed to work. Okay, so that's my first definition, and that's the kind that you might be able to buy a house and get a little bit of a better deal on it, because it does need some updating, and some people might be turned off by that kind of work. You might be handy yourself and decide, hey, I can do these things. I've got experience with them. I can do them without it costing too much, and we can improve the value that way, or just make the house the way we want it. Okay. The other type of fixer-upper that I've seen buyers, my own buyers, kind of drift toward are the ones that need serious work. So I'm talking, there's missing flooring. There's bathrooms that are unfinished. There's not only peeling paint, which is not always a big problem, but it can be with VA or FHA financing, particularly peeling paint on the outside. The house could be kind of dilapidated or unsafe, or have unsafe things. So broken windows, exposed wiring, stuff doesn't work. Things like that. Might need a new roof. Now, that type of fixer-upper, you're going to have a hard time getting any kind of financing on that type of house, because it's not going to pass appraisal inspections. It's not going to pass, if you're going to get a home inspection and they're going to give you a laundry list of what needs to be fixed, that's still on you if you want that or not. But you're not going to get past an appraisal inspection on something like that unless you're buying that house cash. So those are just things to kind of be aware of when you're looking at different types of properties and what you might run into. Buying a house that's a little bit older that maybe hasn't been updated, that might be an opportunity for you to build some more equity over time by investing your own time and energy into bringing it up to the current era, depending on how old those things are. You see this in mountain properties a lot, because a lot of people use mountain properties for second homes and things like that, so they don't get updated or worked on very often. So they might need work. But turnkey homes, you're going to get them from new builds. It's got a brand new home, and it can still have problems. I don't want anyone to think that just because it was made by the builder brand new that it doesn't have problems. They typically have warranties on a new build home, and you may have to work on those warranties or have the builders come out and fix stuff from time to time. That happened with my parents buying a new build in Texas, and my sister who bought a new build in Texas. They had to have the builders come out and keep fixing stuff because the house settles or something breaks earlier than they expect, or the foundation gets a little loopy or moves a little bit, and it can cause all kinds of issues. But just things to be aware of. So even if it's a new build, doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. If it's turnkey, at least ask how. Was it all just renovated? Was it purchased by a company and then they're flipping it? That's the most common way we see it, as like a title history. It'll say something LLC has owned this property and now it's going for sale. Or is it just, is it a good deal and it just needs some updating and it's still safe and everything works? So just questions to ask yourself, ask your realtor, talk to your loan agent, your loan officer, because they're going to help kind of give you some clarity on those things and what you might run into. But that's it for me today out here in the beauty of our nature here. So if you like the video, you like this content, please like, subscribe, share it with people who might find it interesting. Comment down below if you have any questions or ever run into anything weird when you're looking at homes. So anything that you haven't seen before, couldn't explain, and they wanted some crazy amount of money for it or something to that nature. But yeah, comment down below. All right, guys, take it easy. Peace.